So I'm super excited to be here this evening for this inaugural podcast, which I know will be first of many. And as before I even get into it, I want to ask, how many people believe in the power of manifestation and mindset? I want to tell you, I'm sitting here right now in the power of manifestation and mindset because 3 months ago, the Lord had me trademark the second act and it wasn't available. So he said, just add the second act of life. So that was able to pass. And he said, I want you to do a podcast. And I said, well, I'll try to fit that into everything else that you're asking me to do. So when Janaé reached out to me, it's confirmation for what the Lord had already laid on me about doing a podcast. So whatever your heart's desire is, I want you to claim it tonight. No wavering, no checking with other people. Whatever it is that you're supposed to do, trust and believe that everything you need in order to do that thing that you are called to do is already in your hands. It's time to stop seeking validation from people and recognize truly that validation is for parking. It's not for people. And it's time for you to stop living so deeply inside other people's dreams that you never fulfill any of your own. And that's what we're here tonight about. So Jubilee Theatre is proud to host a special edition of the House of Jubilee, featuring insightful discussion about the bubbly Black girl sheds her chameleon skin. And how many of us have some skin we want to shed right now? This critically acclaimed production not only celebrates the journey of African American women towards self-discovery and empowerment, but also underscores the importance of owning their space in this life. Throughout this narrative, in this play, we embrace and promote the Hasu moment. Hasu. Does anybody know what that means? Hasu. That means hook a sister up. That phrase is coined from none other than the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks, Sid Marshall. That's what she believes in. That's what she promotes. She uplifts, and that's what this play is about. This event is our opportunity to meet and for me to introduce the new managing director, Janaé Willis-Beard, who is on a course to make sure that everybody, not just in Dallas-Fort Worth, but throughout the country and the world know what's happening here at Jubilee Theatre. I am honored to be here in conversation with these two amazing women, the director of the amazing film. Please, I'm speaking life.
Hey, come on, we ready? We'll take
Did
it.
you hear that?
I heard it.
Look, it's a play. But I'll tell you, I said film. See, the power of the words, you think it started with, You start thinking it's one thing, but it'll turn into something else. So we're here to explore that tonight with our amazing director, Khira Hailey. So I want to go ahead. Everybody ready to kick this off?
Ready.
All right. So look, for me, there's nothing to it but to do it. Hey, we don't need to waste any more time because we're going to learn everything we need to learn tonight. And I'm super thrilled to be here with my sisters for us to share what's been placed in your heart, mind, body, and spirit for such a time as this that is going to change so many ways that people see themselves, and especially sisters. So, Khira, what initially drew you to the bubbly Black girl sheds her chameleon skin, and how does this production resonate in today's social climate?
Well, I am a lover of all things that is satirical in nature. And this play or musical is very that, and I'm a lover of all things musical. I tell my kids all the time, my life is a musical. So if I just bust out in song somewhere, just let me do that.
Disney moment.
Yes, I have Disney moments all the time. And so when I read the script, I was just like, okay, this is a little confusing. Then I put the soundtrack with it, and I was like, oh, I see the vision. I see the funniness in this. I see the satirical, dramatic, and comedic nature of the show. And I was like, yes, ma'am, I want to do this show. This is the show for me. Please. This one. And it is just a beautiful journey to get in here and to see it then on its feet, because what I have in my mind, then when you put actors with it, then when you put the actual musicians, then when you put the choreography, it just builds and builds and builds upon itself, and it has become this beautiful piece of work that it might be the favorite play that I've directed so far.
And that's powerful, because I know that you directed other pieces. So to hear you speak this way about this particular production, and I have to tell you, the title says Bubbly, and I have to say to you, I feel bubbly watching you. Don't you? When she's talking about it, you know, sometimes you have a conversation with people and it's like, oh Lord. Did I not ask the right question? Is she not excited about her own production? I feel the excitement. And Janaé, I have to tell you, as excited as I am hearing from our sister, I have to tell you that I'm so excited that you decided to take this role at Jubilee Theatre. Yeah. Because, we need to clap. I want to say congratulations to you.
Thank you.
I want to applaud what you have done and what you are doing, because you are a manifestation of God's vision for such a time as this for Jubilee.
Thank you.
So I want to ask you, how has it been so far in your role, and what are you looking forward to as it relates to this amazing play that we're going to see tonight?
So I have actually been the managing director since September when we started the season. But I told Wambu and I told our board president, I said, let me just get in. Let me just do the work. Let me have the community by faith back into us at Jubilee. I said, I just want to do the work. I don't need you to, I don't need the press release. I fought it. And then she came to me, and to know our board president, you have to understand she's very, and she does not mix her words. She is very direct and to the point. And she said, okay, I thought about it, and I'm not liking your plan anymore. We want to announce, and I want you to announce at the top of the year. So at the top of the year, we were in Bread and Gravy. And I was like, that's...
the story of Ethel Waters.
The story of Ethel Waters. And I was like, I love old Ethel, but I just can't, I can't make that one match. So one of the things is I make sure, because I also still do our marketing, is I was reading the script of Bubbly. And Khira is right. You cannot read that script and not listen to the soundtrack because the paper. And I was like, I know my brain is mixing, but this is confusing me. So as I listened to it and I listened to Vivica's story, God said, that's your story. Think about how long you had to tell yourself you were worthy to have this position. Yes. You had to unlearn all of the lies. You had to shed it. Go ahead and do it with this one. And I was like, I'm going to wait.
That's too close to home.
You know how when he started talking to you, you're like,
I don't like that one. I
don't like that one. Let's try again. I said, how do thoughts of a colored man? And again, you want to hear Jesus. I could hear heaven just laughing, like, really? Thoughts of a colored man?
That ain't got nothing to do with you.
So then we had some stuff transpire, and she came back to the table and she said, I think this is the show for you to tell everybody. I was like, oh, yes, ma'am. So I said, how do we do it? And we do it in a way that all of the shine is not on me. I said, how do I help other women come to the table? Especially us as Black women who feel like we got a code switch in every room we walk into. How do I make it where I can say, hey, this is my story, and it's okay if it's yours. It's okay to show up in the room and take up your space and not apologize for taking up your space. So this journey has been fun. It has been challenging. But I look at it and I say, Jubilee is an institution that allows us to come into the room and tell our story, tell our narrative, and it's not in anybody else's light. We know how we talk to each other. We know how we love each other.
Absolutely.
It's hard for somebody else to paint that story for us when they haven't lived it. So I didn't want anyone else to be the one to say or announce, oh, Jubilee Theatre has a new managing director. So it was, okay, let me own my story. Let me share how this has come to pass. Because from a PR standpoint, I said, we're not going to hide from the fact. It's been a little bit of a revolving door. I said, we just have to put our faith back into our people, that they're going to put their faith back into us.
Absolutely. And
that has been where we have been for the past, October, November, December, 6 months. I had to count because it felt a little long. It felt a little long.
It's like a year since Color Purple, yeah.
It does. So that was our first show together. Oh, wow. It wasn't a year ago?
No, it was 6 months.
Felt like a year.
So speaking of announcements and making sure that we do things in order, I just want to tell you, I'm going to put this paper down because I want to ask a question. How do you think that we, as women, and especially Black women, can get to a place where we stop running from our greatness? That we stop apologizing for owning the room when we walk in the room. That we stop apologizing because we have created great work.
I think for me, it has come from understanding there's nothing wrong the way I see the world. I remember I was working on a show. I was working on Ain't No Mo before it went to Broadway. I was the associate director when it was up in New York at the Public Theater. And we had a dinner with donors for the Public Theater. And I remember one donor asking questions about the show because it's a very Black show. It's so Black. It's so Black. The premise of the show is that the U.S. government has given all Black people a one-way trip back to Africa. And if you stay, you are transmogrified, is the word that is used, into a mediocre white man. So it is different scenes and understandings about how people get that news and how they deal with it in the monolith of what is Black. And I remember a man sitting down with me, and he asked me, he said, how do I tell somebody to come see this show when I don't see myself in this show? And I said, well, sir, the thing about theater is, and the beauty of what it is, I don't see myself in a lot of shows, but I have learned how to find the common ground in everything, in every situation, in every story, because there's always a common ground that can be released across races. And I said, that's what you have to do. You have to find that common ground and realize that because it's this story, it doesn't mean that it's wrong for you. You just have to find out where you fit in it. And I think that is what we don't want to find out where we fit in sometimes. We want to be like, oh, I don't look like that, so maybe I shouldn't go in that room. But it's like, no, come in with everything that you got, because somebody's going to find where you fit.
For me, I go back to looking at things the way my small children look at things. I have a 3-year-old, and when he goes to the park, he plays with everybody. He doesn't look at you and be like, ooh, okay, that's a Hispanic baby, that's a white baby. Oh, there go the Black kids, I'm gonna go over here and play. He finds the people, and he just plays with everybody. And we, as adults, have to adopt back that mind-like setting. And as Black women, we have to realize it is not our responsibility to heal, validate, or make everybody comfortable. But society has told us, oh, you're a Black woman. You must be a great mother. take care of everybody in this. I don't want to take care of everybody.
They treat us like emotional support animals sometimes.
That is yes. Like, oh, she's not having a good day. Have you gone and checked? No. Did you ask what kind of day I was having? I don't want to go ask her how her day. But it's expected of us. So we have to be okay with, I don't have to be there for everybody.
And it's true.
I don't have to. I don't have to show up for everybody. But the flip side to that is, be okay knowing your circle. Because when you're in a circle with people who know you and love you, if I don't answer your text for 2 days, you're not taking it personal.
Right.
Because your mind shifts to, okay, Janaé got this and this and this, and she's become a caregiver, and she's a wife and a mom, and she has a new job, and you know what? She gonna get back to me when she get back to me. And when I do get back, it's not a place of anger. Oh, well, I guess Jubilee got you real busy. You done became the MD. You ain't got time for people. I really don't, but I still called you. I still called you back.
But
we have to be okay and learn how to give each other grace.
yes. And I think that's so important as a part of the production, that I'm sure you had to go through periods of grace.
I'm gonna get you a grace page.
Yeah. Can you share with us what that means to be working on a production and being able to show the cast grace while they're learning their lines, and talk to us about that.
I feel like it's a very thin line of, I don't want to give you so much grace that you don't do what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
But also I do need to understand that life happens. Life is going on. And I think I have learned, because I used to be an actress before I became a director, and I just know I look at the world as, how would I want someone to direct me? How would I want somebody to form a relationship with me? And I love that about my cast. Like, you'll see me, if I am doing a show, it might be some of the same people, because I built relationships within my cast. I built families within my cast, and they'll never leave me alone after that. And that is just, it becomes this thing. And I think bringing in old people who also know me already, it helps to then, they're like, oh, I can trust her. She firm, but she understands that we have this amount of time. We got to get it done.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, that is what it is. We are all here to make sure that we look great when we hit the stage, and you are only as great as your weakest link. So let's build everybody up and get it together. And I say that a lot of times. I love y'all. Oh, that was good, y'all. But these are the things that went wrong tonight, and then we need to fix this by the time we come back in here tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And let's run through it, and we're gonna get it done.
So I honed in on that word relationship, which is going to tie back to you. We all know, and if you don't, relationships are critical in anything that you do. Many of us, we're focused on transactions. Transactions are fleeting. Transactions are only as good as that $500. But when you have a relationship, you can get to the $50,000. So when you talk about relationships and directing and relationships with Jubilee, Janaé, how are you developing relationships in order to bring in the funds and the resources into Jubilee Theatre?
So I go back to my roots. I come back to my roots. Y'all see my roots? Back. So I am one of those people. I learned that at a previous employer over in Dallas. I actually am very proud to tell people that I used to work at the Dallas Regional Chamber, because if you know the power of the DRC, you understand what it means to have been someone that was under their leadership and guidance. And the president used to always say, I'm okay taking 8, 9, 10 months to build a relationship with a company, because that 8-9 months is not a waste of my time. Mm-hmm. And we used to see it when he'd come in with one of $100,000 checks and say, oh, they've pledged $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 over the course of the next 2 years. So when you start thinking that they're gonna give us $400,000 in 2 years, wait a second, and you begin to look at the math, and you're like, oh, it might have taken you 8 months to get there,
right?
But they've built trust.
Mm-hmm.
They've built relationships. They've gone to dinner with each other. They know each other's families. He understands truly what the mission of that company is. So for me, it is taking a step back and looking at who are the companies that have consistently shown up for Jubilee Theatre.
Yes.
Who are the foundations that have consistently poured into us? And when I started, I made it a point to write out all of those foundations, and they got handwritten cards. They just said, hey, my name is, I'm the new med over at Jubilee, because again, we weren't saying that I was the managing director. So I said, okay, the happy medium in Wambui was like, oh, sweet Jesus. It still say MD. That was his thing. He said, but it's still, if I just call you my MD, I'm not lying. It just means marketing, education, and development director. He said, but I'm going to abbreviate it and just say MD. And I was like, okay, fine. You going to find a loophole, aren't you? And he was like, yeah, I found my loophole. But it was just little handwritten notes that said, this is who I am. I'm here. If you were interested in getting lunch with me, if you would like to have coffee, just let me know. And then following up with those people, and now they see me in spaces and they're like, oh, well, how nice to meet you. And it was some people who were like, because there was a lot of history that had to be rewritten.
Yes.
And then there was a true love in the funding community for the previous managing director that held his seat for so long, who is no longer with us, not just here in Jubilee, but she is no longer here with us on earth. Sadly, we lost Christy Howard a couple of months ago. But a lot of our funders loved her, and it was a true, we go hard in the paint for her. So for me to come in, they were like, well, maybe. Because Christy was gone for a while, and then now you back. And so it was, how do we, and that's what I kept telling my board. We have to go back and we need to mend some fences. Artistically, Jubilee Theatre is 43 years old. We have been here for 43 seasons. Artistically, we can do shows like Color Purple, Dream Girls, Sister Act, which this one right here is directed this summer over at Bass Hall. Okay, yeah. So this 144-seat house is so powerful that we can say, hey, we want to do a show over at Bass, which is over 2,000 seats.
Yes.
And they trust us to do that. But that came because we had to get back to the table and began to heal those relationships. So we do mess up sometimes.
Of course.
But do y'all know the power of an apology?
Mm-hmm.
Just actually saying, my bad. I am so sorry.
Who
that
said
we did
ownership?
not
You said
ownership. And just own the mistake that you made.
Absolutely.
And then be like, this is how it happened. And I always tell people it's not an excuse, but I do believe you deserve an explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Because from a business, it was not we intentionally meant to do those things. We had a short staff.
Right.
So this is how that fell through the cracks, but this is how I tell people, and I think it was you who told me this, an apology doesn't mean anything if it's just words, if it's not backed up by action.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the action? And a lot of times we lose relationships because we forget the action that backs up the apology. So.
Is that not powerful?
Yes.
And that's what this is about tonight, this House of Jubilee podcast. It's about connecting with you all in a way where you go out into the community and say, hey, yes, Jubilee is great, but we were fed this evening with some words that spoke into our heart, mind, body, and spirit in order to push us into that next what in our life. And so, my sister, I want to ask you, I've been burning to ask you this. Tell us, what can we expect tonight?
Ooh, laughter. And I think it's laughter that also hits you in the gut a little bit.
Yes. And we need that, right?
Yeah.
We need
you
that.
That one hit a little close to home. It's still funny, but I remember a time when I was right there with her. And I think that is the beauty of this show. It hits you with a message, but in a funny and off-kilter kind of way. And again, those are my favorite type of shows to direct. The ones that have a message but are also funny.
And Janaé, what are you looking forward to about this particular production? Because I think being that is 6 months?
Yeah.
6 months that you've been in your position and you've gone through how many productions until this one?
Color, East Texas, Black Nativity, we've been through 4.
So 4 productions, 6 months. What would you like to see happen in this production tonight that you may not have seen in the previous productions that would indicate growth to you?
I love our cast size of this one. I think this season.
You hear that, Wham? She like that.
So, Wambui and I always joke. He says he's here to save the money. He said because you find a way to spend it.
Me too. He told me that too.
It's like you find a way. Look, as you see what I mean?
I like it.
He said you find a way to spend it. But I love it when, and I know somebody that's sitting there like, what kind of director is she? She love to do payroll. But on this payroll, my sheet actually take up 2 sides.
Come on.
Come the 2 sides. You gotta have it.
Put a ring on it.
Yeah, you know. But I love it because it means that we are giving more actors a space to come and shine. We were able to have a budget that afforded us a full loft of musicians for our musical.
Yes.
And where it is, some of our productions, they do require tracks, and we're not against tracks, but it's something different when you hear that drum coming from up there.
The flute.
The flute. Yeah, the flute.
Is amazing.
Right?
And you hear it, and it's not on a track, and I can sit there and I can say, we paid 34 people, 34 artists that might not have had another space that they could go in and be themselves and do a show where they're not asked to play a white character with a black face, or they're told, we really want you, but you're a little too short. You're a little too tall. You're a little too dark, a little too black. You're a little too black for this one. They can actually just show up and be like, okay, we're here at Jubilee.
Absolutely.
And we like, okay, let us find that space for you. And we're able to do that. And whenever I can see that on payroll day, I'm like, ooh, we have this many people. We are growing.
Absolutely.
We had the budget. And even when, because we are a nonprofit, so we are heavily grant funded. So I look at, and I have to challenge myself. Okay, if this is what we want to do, where do I find that money?
Yes.
So where do I hit the pavement and go and find that money? And for me, I don't like us being so grant funded because one grant, you miss one grant, and then you sitting up.
How we gonna pay for the show?
How we gonna? Okay, and then I'm sitting up. Okay, Khira, now listen. I know you like that flute, but we can have a track, and we just keep everybody else. So then it becomes, how do I get businesses to partner with us? What can we give to businesses? Just so y'all know, this theater does not have naming. So if Toyota, Walmart, Benz feels the love to want to be the Benz theater, we will give that to you for a price. But that is where Jubilee is shifting as we are preparing for what comes next for us. We are looking at how do we partner with our community stakeholders where they say, no, we're investing in Jubilee.
And it's a great place to invest.
And it's a great place to
Absolutely.
invest. We're going to see a return on our investment. Well, how are you going to see a return? Trust me. And that's where you have to be really good at sitting at the table and saying, any real business knows your ROI does not happen immediately.
Correct.
But where are you sowing? Because where you sow, so shall you reap. And we are moving into the direction of, I'm a woman of my word. If I say you're going to reap,
Yes.
trust me, you're going to reap. I will figure out how to make sure that your company's name is everywhere. We have told you we're going to place it.
Absolutely.
So it's things like that we are, we're shifting and driving into. But I love being able to, pay a large cast because that means we got it.
Remember that when you get that sister cast.
I started seeing that line up, and I'm sitting here like, oh, okay. Dolores costs a lot.
And that's an awesome feeling when we as a community can come together and first have an amazing director such as Khira, and then have a place and space in order to see ourselves soar and do well. And Khira, when you know that you have that ability to direct a piece like this that is gonna allow people to walk away with that feeling of, and I'm planting the seed right now, so don't catch this, don't miss it. Tonight, as we watch and you direct, what would you like for the people right here with us right now to be able to carry out into the community to get a Toyota, a Dallas Mavericks, for them to say, you know what? I saw this production. This amazing director poured her heart and her soul into it. And Janaé came along and made sure that everybody had a space and a place for 34 people to shine. Share a message that these amazing people can carry out in the community to make sure that all these chairs are filled every single night, not just for this show, but for every show. Because I feel your spirit. I feel your spirit, and I feel the essence of who you are, and you're doing this for something that is far greater than even you know right now.
Don't forget, we got 2,000. We gotta feel like that. So make this a good message. And we got 2,000 round the cone.
Yes.
Oh man, I think for me, because Jubilee is such a home for me. I remember coming to Jubilee as a child, coming here to see a dance show. Like I'm 34, so don't do that. I'm 34, and I remember Jubilee has been such a part of my life for so long.
Yes.
And I've been directing here for almost, how long have you been here, ma'am?
6.
So 7-8 years at this point. I've been working in the Jubilee space. And I just want people to know that we are here.
Yes.
Jubilee creates legends. And I don't think people understand that. We have so many people who have touched the stage that have also touched Broadway stages, that are showrunners for shows on BET Plus right now. Jordan E. Cooper, who is I call him the baby genius. He is the youngest Black playwright to ever have a show on Broadway, and he started here.
Wow.
And, so we create beautiful. We give a space for young Black artists, for Black artists, period, to shine and show who they are, and we need people in the seats to continue to be able to do that.
Absolutely. Janaé?
So, for me, it is everybody for the past, I want to say 5 years, has been caught up in the cancel culture.
Yes.
We're something that can't be canceled. We're not going anywhere. We have 43 more years.
Yes.
And then another 43 after that. Because as I look out and I would be remiss if I did not. He is not up here, and if I told him to come down here right now, he'd probably choke me out. But our artistic director spends, when September 1st hit and we opened up this season, I found him in his office with playbooks everywhere, and I'm like, we in a season. What you doing? He say,
prepare for the next.
He said, I'm on to the next. And the time and love that he gives to picking things that are relevant to where we are sitting right now as a people. We cannot be Jubilee Theatre without that type of love and passion. So when he sat and he chose The Bubbly Black Girl Sheds Her Chameleon Skin, he knew that we would be in a society that right now is telling Black women who we can and cannot be. And they're not telling us at our age. They're telling the ones that look like my 13-year-old over there. And they're telling her, objectify your body.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sex is going to sell. Sex is going to keep them engaged. When he chose the show Thoughts of a Colored Man, it was because our Black men are going out and we pray that they make it back home.
Yes.
And he had to think about the 8-year-old, the 3-year-old, the 23-year-olds that are taking up the space in this world. Where are we going to be? That is what Jubilee does. And at our heart, we are a teaching institution. So we want that next playwright. We have been able to do like Jordan E. Cooper. We have been able to produce out Major Attaways because of our...
That's my stage manager.
That's our awesome stage manager. She look, tell her she all right. She good. That's why we not live. We don't edit. We are able to do that because of the love and the care that is in just the bones of Jubilee Theatre. We affectionately call this space the House of Jubilee. So when we launched the podcast this year, I was like, that's what it needs to be called.
Yes.
The House of Jubilee, because Wambui says it in his opening speech. You all will hear it when we open up the doors for the show tonight. The first time you come, Aaron, you are what? What are you, Aaron? You a guest. You are a guest. Misha, the second time you come, what are you? You're a friend. You're a friend. You're a friend. Khira, the third time.
Third time, you family.
You family.
And you better bring somebody with you that one.
Exactly.
It's a cookout.
It's a cookout. And you only do that for people that you welcome into your house and into your home. And if people are wanting to know, so how do we tell Jubilee? You say, hey, if you want to go see a great show and be loved on during that show and afterwards, go and go get you some tickets over at Jubilee Theatre. If you want to know or hear the stories of African Americans, go get you a ticket.
All kinds of African Americans. Not just one set.
Not just one set. We did the show East Texas Hot Links to open up this season. And Eugene Lee, who was the playwright, I always forget, is he from Houston or Fort Worth? He's a Texas native. And he was our first guest on the House of Jubilee, and we were so proud of him. He only cursed twice. We were so proud of him because we was praying. He was in Women of Brewster's Place. He played Oprah Winfrey's son when he got older. So when you see him and you put all the dots together, you're like, oh, okay. But during that, the whole premise of it is the links in life, and that's where East Texas Hot Links comes from. It's about the links that we have in life. He premiered that play here at Jubilee Theatre. So when we called and said, hey, we're doing it this season, but we'd also like for you to come back and be on the podcast, he was like, hell yeah, I'm now. How y'all want me to come up? And I was like, okay, I can see now. I'm going to have the talk with you. I said, that's what I said, Mr. Lee. We live tonight, okay? Oh, watch my mouth. I said, I would like it if you could, because I want to be able to put this on YouTube and say the children can watch it.
Exactly.
So he always said that there is a blood that runs through Jubilee, that inevitably you become family once you have occupied this space. So that is what we are. That is who we are at our heart. We are a family.
So I feel honored to have been asked to be here tonight in the House of Jubilee. I am excited about everything that is coming out of this building. Yes. I cannot wait to see the play.
The Bubbly
slash film tonight.
You gonna be slayed in the spirit in a little bit. You just gonna be laid out.
Oh, she just keep talking into my life, and I just don't
accept
so
it, embrace it.
Just have both of you ladies to close us out and share from your heart what it is that makes you who you are in this earth.
I think for me, what makes me is my ability to always keep going, no matter what. To look at the thing that is wrong, be like, oh yeah, that's gonna hurt later, or that's gonna hurt right now, but I have to go through it to keep going.
Yes.
To feel I always tell myself, I tell everybody I know, I tell children all the time, feel your emotions, please. Do not bottle them up. Feel everything that you need to feel right now, and then move through it. Because you have to. You can't stew in what has caused you pain and what has caused you hurt. You have to learn to move through the things. And I think that is one of my best attributes. I've learned to move through the things.
Yeah. You just help somebody tonight. Whether they'll admit it or not, you just help somebody.
I'll admit it.
See, that's why sometimes
Just move through
it's
things.
so important that we have things written, but in such, in life, we plan things. But when you follow where you're led to go, it opens up opportunities for people to share things that they wouldn't normally share in a scripted question. And that's why I asked that question, because I knew somebody in this room needed that answer.
So I have a purpose statement that I created a couple of years back, and it is, I am a curator for the creator. And it took me a long time to find the space that allowed me to truly walk out what that meant. Because someone asked me, they said, oh, that's just fancy words. What does curator even mean? And I was like, well, you clearly don't have Siri. Because Siri will tell you the definition, but I'll help you. A curator pulls things together.
Yes.
A curator looks at a blank wall and can tell you how to put masterpieces on that wall where each one tells a story and it complements the other piece that it's sitting next to. So when God gave me that phrase back in 2020, He said, you are going to walk into spaces and you're going to pull things together that are going to complement each other.
Yes.
Fast forward my 40th birthday, and I had been here for a couple of weeks. And then we did a little party at my house, and we were playing a game. And one of the questions was, if the world came under the attack by zombies, who would be the one person to survive? And all of my friends around the table said, Janaé. And I was like, well, I'm glad I'm surviving, but why am I the one to survive? They said, because she going to organize all the zombies. And she going to be like, are we here to just eat and kill? Or are we trying to establish a colony? Are we doing a zombie make? He said, she's going to organize the zombie rebellion. She going to be the leader before it's over with, because she going to be the pulled everybody together. And then it hit me. And God said, see, even your friends see it.
Yes.
They see that you come in and you're going to pull the pieces together. So I used to think, oh, that don't sound fun. That don't sound like the person people want to be around. But then I realized, oh, I'm needed.
You are.
It's okay for me to walk in that and be like, I'm the person that comes in and organizes it and put the pieces pretty on the wall so it makes sense and it tells the story. And it's okay. It's kind of like when I did the disc, the Strength Finders, and I wanted to have the woo. I wanted to get the woo. And I took that test 3 times trying to get a woo, woo, woo. Get a woo, woo, woo. And they kept telling me I couldn't woo. But then the lady who administered it, she explained it to me. She said, you have relationships in your top 5.
Yes. She
said, woo people, they are like a salesperson. They kiss it and then they off. They say a woo person, it's not a bad thing, but the woo is immediate. But the relationship person digs deeper and wants to spend that time to get to know you. But when I tell you, so I just wanted that. I wanted the woo too.
I remember when I took that. I wanted the woo.
And then woo. So now can we woo, woo, woo? You know,
yes,
just do it together.
So did we not enjoy the information that we received tonight? I thank you, Khira. I thank you, Janaé, for allowing me to be here tonight in the House of Jubilee. I look forward to many more opportunities to be here. I'm speaking life. Many more opportunities to be here, and I cannot wait to be in the audience this evening to watch what you have directed, what you have carried and birthed. And we are here to support, not just tonight, but moving forward. So I want to encourage each and every person who is in here right now to make a conscious decision to share with someone the importance of us supporting Jubilee Theatre. If you know people who are looking for an opportunity to be a part of something greater than yourself, this is the opportunity. This is the opportunity for us to come in and volunteer. For us also, some of us right now, we may have thought about, I would love to act, but I put it off because I was helping everybody else fulfill their dream. This is your time to step in. And as I often tell people, it's never too late to be great. As long as you're breathing, it's never too late to be great. And that is what the House of Jubilee is. It is greatness. Thank you for allowing me to be here this evening.
Thank you.
That concludes our podcast, but we are open and available for maybe 2 questions because I know that we have to get on the road.
Any questions? Thoughts, concerns,
prayer requests.
Is there one? Is there one?
But let's start the show.
Thank
All
you
hearts
all
and minds are
so
clear.
much for being here with
I
us.
have one question. If someone has an idea for a play,
Oh yes, we love those.
because it just came to me as I'm sitting here in front of such talent, how would they go about presenting it to
Can I
writer,
take this first
director,
part?
and
Yeah,
then
you take
to
the second
Jubilee for the creative expression?
God told you to ask that because the one thing that we did not mention this evening, starting in season 44, we are launching the Rudy and Marion Eastman original work series, where we are going back to our roots.
Wow.
Before Jubilee Theatre had the money to go to Concord, go to Samuel French, go to Broadway licensing to buy plays, Marion and Rudy Eastman wrote every play that we produce. So Jubilee Theatre actually has an archive, and as we're doing research and we're gathering all of the information, we are sitting on an archive of about 63 musicals.
Wow.
And an additional 60-something just plays that have not been done since Mr. Eastman passed. So we are going back to our roots next season. We're not announcing which ones we're doing yet, but we are being intentional about that. But the other side to that, Miss Ronnie, to answer your question is, Bubbly Richardson, who has worked at numerous theaters as a writer himself, we have the privilege of calling him our artistic director, he will be going through, and we're going to have a selection committee, and we will be picking different writers and plays to come in, work up under him, and we will work out your entire play for you. We will help you. If you want to do a musical, we will help you understand not just the artistic piece of it, but the business side of it. How do we make sure that your play stay your play?
Yes.
Because there's a Hamilton in DFW somewhere.
Yes.
And he's very upset that he's not getting his money about that.
Yes.
So it's very, I'm glad that you asked that, because that is what that will look like. And it'll be just different workshops that he is hosting, different education that he's imparting. And then we will take the play through, very similar to how we did Bread and Gravy. They brought us the script, we did the stage reading, and then the next season we actually did the full production of it. So we'll be working with them through an entire 3-part process.
And I was just going to, you can go ahead. Oh, and I was just going to piggyback off of that. And my love is workshopping shows with writers.
Wow.
I say I'm not a writer per se, but
yes, you are.
but I know how to find the funny. I know how to find the heartfelt. I know how to help someone bring. I feel like I'm a director in everything I do. I know how to help people bring out the best in their work. I feel like, and that's where, if I could be anywhere, is helping people like realize their writing dreams and their understanding and developing that with them.
Miss Siobhan?
There's a piece to this puzzle that this lady isn't bringing up, and that's going into the community and empowering you. And so when Janaé came aboard, I'm also from Fort Worth, and it is a dream come true to be at Jubilee, period. And so Bubbly, behind the scenes for about 3 years, I've been like, Bubbly, we need to how can I help you guys work with you? I have a teen theater group organization. How can I help you guys work with you? It's like 3 years. We're like, okay, we're going to figure it out. And we were planning something, and then it wouldn't happen, and then we planned something. And then Janaé came along, and today hearing you is so refreshing because it's like you get it. Like you understand the history of Jubilee, like how Jubilee transformed lives. And you know, when I first walked in and you guys took me backstage, I was like, oh my God, I'm backstage at Jubilee Theatre. Like it was life transforming for me. You know, and so allowing my youth group to come in here, grace this stage, hearing them talk about the transformation that this opportunity did for them is just amazing. And it's so crazy because for 3 years, people were like, I would tell people, I'm just waiting on Jubilee. I'm waiting on them to call me. I'm just going to wait on Jubilee.
Yes.
And there is some not so good things that some people, you know, have tried to say about past history. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is Jubilee Theatre. Are you crazy? Like, you know, I don't care what happened in the past. I don't care what you think you know, what you think you heard. This is Black history. This is a staple in our community. This is culture.
It's bigger than one person.
Exactly.
Yes. And so to hear you say that, you know, we had to, you know, pull some people to the side and write some letters and say some things and show them that this is new. This is us. We're still here. We're not going anywhere. It's refreshing. It's like you get it, you got it, and you're the perfect person for this. And I thank you so much, you and Bubbly, from the bottom of my heart for giving me an opportunity to direct these youth. I always say, like, y'all didn't know how I was going to do. Y'all just like, you got it? You know, but I guess you saw something in me, and that meant the world to me. And then for me to be able to give kids this platform, and it's like, I'm never going to let you guys down. I'm always going to be by y'all side. Like, I thank y'all so much, and I'm so proud to be here, and I'm so glad that you're in your position. And I'm not going anywhere, and the world needs to know about what we're doing at Jubilee Theatre.
And I'll say this as we close out, because we do have to, I want to be mindful of my cast in their time this evening. If you get an opportunity, please go to YouTube. Please search Maroon 9. Please watch the production of Bone Soup. The baby who plays the culture queen, the very first week of rehearsal, baby girl sounded just like this. And she was trying to sing from this octave. And this is as loud as she got. Baby, by the time we got to show Michelle, I looked, I said, did a grown woman, is somebody up in this? I thought the baby had started lip syncing. Because her voice was so full. Yeah. And I remember Siobhan would pull her to the side every night and say, all right, let's do this. Mm-hmm. Nobody else in here, just the two of them. She was like, nope, this between me and you. She never called her out in front of the other children. And I don't know where this is coming from or who needs to hear this. Stop calling each other out in front of other people. Yes. It does not make us bigger people. That's right. It doesn't make us better. Because I got you told. Did you? Did you really? Because sometimes in our need to get somebody told, we cut off our nose to spite our face.
That's a mouthful.
So, Miss Siobhan, we thank you. Because these babies, when they come through and they know the rules, they know how to act. And being down here in Sundance Square, when you see a whole bunch of little black faces descend on the space, they just be looking. And they be expecting. Like, I've seen them almost kind of stand back and be like, they're going to cause some trouble. It's going to be. And the babies come on in this theater, they be minded, and they be looking like, hi, ma'am, how are you today? And they're like, oh, okay. So thank you, because you put that in them to have that respect for the space, but also for their craft. Mm-hmm. So kudos to you, my love. All right. Let the show begin.